Well, hello, everyone. I am Todd Bookspan, the founder of Win by Noon. A lot of you know me, but for those of you who don't, I'm very involved in the mortgage and real estate communities, and I'm very excited that you are all here. Today, we are joined by really one of the smartest people I know. I don't really know how else to introduce Bill Hillestad other than that. So welcome, Bill.
Yeah, the king of the nerds. Too
I
funny.
think that's
Thank you.
okay, right? I think that's all right. I think that certainly in the mortgage coach productivity mastermind community, we all know you as the smartest marketer that we know. And I've been telling people that I called you a while back about some Facebook stuff, and you were like, "Well, Todd, you know what? I've handed that off because I found this new opportunity." And I'm just 110% focused on this because it is a great way for us to A, help small businesses, and B, make a little bit of money ourselves, and then C, maybe share it with our friends and help them make a little money too.
Yeah, that's reasonably accurate. It's funny. I was going through my early messages. When did this happen? How did this happen to me? It was May 12th. I got a text from somebody saying, "Check this out," and it was the ERC stuff. And I was leaving the next day to Nashville for a week with a bunch of friends. Just a a purposeless drinking trip with friends. And while there, I brought it up to a few of them. One of them owned a sporting goods store with 37 employees, and then I ended up texting another client that I did coaching for that had a brokerage with 50 people or so. And sure enough, the sporting goods store got $800,000 back, and the little mortgage brokerage got over $1.5 million. And I started referring a couple other people to it and going, wow. And I did not reach out to anybody. It just came up in conversation. And all of a sudden I realized, dang, pretty much everywhere I know, I just got somebody that's on the mortgage coach community with you guys from time to time, Alex Cook, just said, sent me a thing and said, "I'm getting, $300,000 back. Thanks so much. This is awesome." And that's all it was somebody told me about it. And I passed it along to a few people, and then they reached out and said, "What can we do on the marketing side?" Because I just thought it was neat. I was whatever. And on the marketing side, I immediately jumped out and I was curious what it would cost me to generate leads. And lo and behold, it was easy and it was cheap. But I anticipated that it wouldn't be like that always, just because I knew, wow, big opportunity. There's going to be big competition. I thought it was ideal for the warm referral. Because when I ran the ads, Todd, what I realized, because I made people fill out a little survey. What do you know about the ERC? Half the people said, don't know anything. A third of them said, I don't qualify. Either I was told I don't qualify, or based on what I read, I don't qualify. And mind you, the absolute smartest financial minds in the industry, without naming names, because I talk to people all the time. Same thing. Some of the people that you and I both know either believe they didn't qualify or they hadn't heard of it. But for the most part, they all thought that, oh yeah, I heard about that. You have to have had reduced income. You have to have whatever. And all these people are getting $1, $4, $5 million refunds now. And I realized this was kind of a big deal. Yeah. Less than 3% of the businesses have even applied for this. And where the average PPP loan was $107,000, the average ERC refund has been $562,000 that we've seen so far, and yet nobody's doing it. So that's kind of where the opportunity side of it came from.
So let's get to basics then, because some people still have no idea what does ERC stand for, and then what is it and how does it work for a business owner?
All right, so here, just some notes. I wouldn't call this a PowerPoint. I'm not a PowerPoint guy, but just some notes. What is the ERC? So when the CARES Act rolls out in early 2020, it has PPP loans and the employee retention tax credit or the employee retention credit. And they're both part of it. But the CARES Act says you can do either one. You can't do both. Well, the ERC is insanely complicated. And at the time in 2020, it wasn't that lucrative because it's only $5,000 for 2020 max refund. So everybody does PPP because it's easy. And then at the very end of 2020, in the Consolidated Appropriations Act, you got to realize this is a 2,700-page act that got given to Congress the night before the vote. So clearly, nobody even read the thing. Nobody had any idea. Everybody voted, passed it. And buried in there, almost as a footnote, is the allowance to do both ERC and PPP. But nobody even notices it. And there's no guidance on how to do it. Well, what do I get to count my PPP wages for my ERC? Nobody. And not until March of 21 does the IRS even release guidance. So that's why this is kind of buried back away and nobody knew about it, because really it didn't even exist as an opportunity that was real until March of 21. And a few people started jumping in and doing it, but again, insanely complicated. So here's the net of it. In 2020, it's the IRS's or the government's way of giving money back to small businesses. It's not a government handout. It is a payroll tax refund to thank businesses for keeping people on payroll during COVID. And what the guidelines say is that if you qualify, 50% of your wages, up to $10,000 of wages or $5,000 maximum refund is what's available for anybody you had on payroll during 2020. And it's the last 3 quarters. The first quarter doesn't count. 70% of their wages, up to $10,000 of wages, is eligible for a refund for each of the first 3 quarters of 2021. And don't worry about remembering all this, but that's $21,000. And you got to think about this. If I paid somebody $10,000 in a quarter, I surely didn't have $7,000 of payroll taxes for them for just $10,000 of pay. It's what the IRS calls a full refund, where you get the full amount based on doing the activities, whether you paid that much or not, but it's just a refund. So the total is currently $26,000. There is a bill on the floor that has total bipartisan support called the ERC Reinstatement Act to add the 4th quarter back in for 2021, which would bring it up to $28,000. But it's right now it's up to $26,000 payroll tax refund for anybody you employed. And what's ironic is people go, oh, well, I have about 5 employees in my mortgage brokerage or whatever. So gosh, I could get, and the average refund is about $21,000. We use 20 for a round number. So 5 employees, I could get $100,000 back, right? That is correct. Once we get in and look at it, we can tell you what the real number will be. But what if you hired some people, laid some people off, had some people rotate, whatever? So yeah, you might only have 5 now, but back during 21, you might have had 15 total employees. So you see people getting, well, how come I'm qualifying for 13 employees? I only have 5. Because it's all the employees you have, because I only need them to have earned 10,000. Even if they were on my payroll for a month, if they earn 10,000, I'm looking at $7,000 in refund. So that's the fully refundable tax credit. It is not your traditional tax credit in which it's a credit against your taxes. It is a check from the IRS, an actual treasury check that gets mailed out. In fact, it's multiple checks because you'll get one for each quarter because you file your payroll taxes quarterly. This is just an amended payroll. It's a 941 is your payroll tax form. A 941X is an amended tax form, and it gets submitted like that. And it's really that simple. Everybody gets to amend their payroll taxes and collect all this money back. But it's insanely complex and it's completely misunderstood, because the first thing that it says when you look at the guidelines is, as far as who qualifies, people that had a 50% decline in revenues for 2020 or a 20% decline in 2020. Well, hey, in the mortgage industry, we made more money. Everybody I know made more money in 21 or 20 and 21 than they did in 19, because 19 is your baseline year. But it goes on, and this is what nobody seems to realize. Yeah, if you had those big revenue declines, you qualify. If you were ever shut down for any period of time, you qualify. But then it says a partial shutdown. And a partial shutdown is if there was a non-nominal impact to any segment of your business, meaning were you ever impacted by a government order or mandate? Work from home, extra percent, whatever, all those city, county, state, national mandates that limited our ability to do certain things in business, that could qualify you. I used to get my business, a lot of it from trade shows. I used to go to, any travel that you normally did. But yeah, 19, I did all these trips and went to these trade shows. In 20 and 21, nope, couldn't do it. My sales and marketing costs went up. I couldn't meet with customers the same. We had to make people work from home and buy them laptops and there's literally over 12,000 ways that somebody can qualify, because it's not a matter of, did you do better or worse? It's a matter of what changed in your business during COVID, that if those changes weren't there, you could have done more. It had a nominal impact on a segment of your business. And that's why you see 9 out of 10, if not 19 out of 20 businesses legitimately qualifying for this and get their money back. So the ERC, just think of it as PPP's big brother, in that it tends to pay a lot more money. The funds are not earmarked for payroll or expenses or anything. It's just a check. It's not a loan. It doesn't have to be paid back. So it's better in so many ways. The risks are, if you go to your regular CPA to do this, Todd, it's like going to a family practitioner and saying, I need brain surgery. Can you handle it? Who has a database of those 12,000 government orders and mandates? No CPA. Who has custom software to figure out, because you can't double dip PPP loans and ERC wages, and I have to calculate which ones apply, and it's insanely complex. And it takes custom built software and forensic auditors and lawyers and accountants. But if you're a specialist, just like the brain surgeon, yeah, I do 5 brain surgeries a day. It's routine for him or her. That's what this is all about. It's an incredible opportunity for businesses. Sadly, a lot of them are, spotting people on TikTok or ads or whatever. They're getting hammered by telemarketers, and they're doing this with people that are trying to cash in on the opportunity, and they're getting a tiny fraction of what they deserve, or they're setting themselves up for an audit. They're getting nothing. They're getting told no. Literally a third of our people have been told no by somebody else, and yet they clearly qualify. So that's the ERC in a nutshell.
All right, perfect. So let me give my Todd, summary of it, and sort of
please.
What got me so excited about it. So the bottom line is that here's my thing, and you can correct me where I'm wrong. The IRS says 75 to 80% of businesses qualify, and you guys have found it's more like 90 to 95%, yet only less than 4% of businesses have actually applied. And so as you're watching this, think through, you all know businesses, right? So some of you are in the mortgage business, and the first ones who've come through my referral, ironically, are mortgage companies. But like I talked to my brother, who's an IT guy at a company that has 200 employees. I talked to a friend of mine who has friends who own restaurants, and most restaurants got shut down and probably qualify. I've got a friend who has a friend who runs a credit card processing company. Well, guess what? He's got hundreds of businesses that he now knows who might qualify. So for me, kind of in a nutshell, Bill, I view anybody who has between 5 W-2 employees. So it doesn't help if someone's got a bunch of 1099 employees, but if they've got 5 W-2 employees or more, or up to 500, like you said, I mean, that's a pretty good target. And then the opportunity for everyone who's watching this is that they can actually sign up to be the person who refers the business. And then they can make a commission on that. Like that was sort of my promise to all of you who are here, that you could show up, figure out how to refer the businesses that you know, to make a commission. And then I put a link, if you're watching this in the Facebook Live, I put a link in Facebook, and then I put a link in chat in the Zoom. It's just LO for loan officer, although anyone can use the link, LOERC.com. If you go there, you can sign up, and then that'll actually set you up so that you've got the link to send to a business to be able to refer that business that you know and love and would love to see get some financial support. I mean, isn't that kind of what it boils down to, Bill? Is there's a lot of businesses out there who still haven't recovered from COVID, and this is an opportunity for them to get, I don't want to call it free money because it's money they've already paid in on payroll tax. It's just a tax credit that they get back.
Yep. You know what? It's the of any government money, the one that helps the most, the one that does the most for the economy, the one that I stand behind most wholeheartedly is money going back to small businesses. So it's a good thing for everybody. So when they ask me because people come to me daily with, can you market this? Can you do that? And interesting stuff from time to time. But I went out and figured out that, gosh, I can run Facebook ads and generate leads pretty cheaply. In fact, the cost of per employee is between $10 and $20, depending on who the leads are going to. And the money that you make per employee is a couple hundred, because the average employee refund is about 21,000. And hey, it's 1 point finder's fee. And great, if I can spend 10 or 20 bucks and get 200, that's a good ROI.
Well, and I think so let's define that. So you just said a 1 point fee. So really that's what you all have the opportunity, is a 1% of whatever the business collects, essentially, right? So if the business collects $1 million, 1% of that is 10,000. Is that more or less an accurate assumption? I know there's a version on that. And so think about it. And my thing for all of you is yeah, Bill is the Facebook guru, but I don't think that's your way to go out there and
no.
So I think if you're a loan officer watching this, look back at your pipeline of self-employed clients that you have who own businesses, and go back and help your clients. What a better way to help your clients and have them love you forever is to help them get some money back that either they don't think they qualify for or are unaware of. And so that's a huge opportunity for you. And then also just think of the businesses you frequent. I went to my dentist yesterday and I said, hey, by the way, how many W-2 employees do you have? Well, they said 2. So guess what? I didn't refer them in, but if they would have said 5, I would have been awesome. Hey, have you guys gotten your ERC refund? And they would have been like, what? They have no idea. But guess what? I know they were shut down during COVID because they weren't seeing patients unless it was a true emergency. And so that's the opportunity for all of you. And then it's the easy button. Literally, they fill out a form that you'll have your own special link, and I can help you guys find it if once you sign up. But it's pretty easy. They sign up and literally it's their name, the business name, phone number, email address, and then the number of employees they have. So that's all you need to know. And then Bill's organization, ERC Only, they've got a team that does all the other work, all the paperwork. So there's nothing else that you need to do. So it's not like doing a mortgage where you've got to run DU and collect pay stubs and do all of that. They actually have a team there that's going to do all the work for you, so that you get that referral. And then if you actually read Bill's little slide here, you could actually go out there. I already know some people who are on this call who've already signed up. And then you can actually sign up a referral partner underneath you. And if you look here, there's an override of 25% of that net income. So for instance, if you sign up and you refer a business, let's pretend you refer XYZ restaurant, you get 1% of what they get on their ERC. But let's pretend you sign up your best friend, John, and John owns a restaurant, or he has a friend that owns a restaurant. John would get the 1% for referring the restaurant, and then you would actually get 25% or a quarter of a point of that restaurant's ERC credit once that gets going. Is that accurate, Bill?
Yeah, and that was kind of what I was driving to, is after I ran these Facebook ads, and they're like, great, we want to hire you to do all of our marketing for Facebook. And my reaction was, I don't think that's where the money is. I think it's all in the warm referrals, because when I was getting all those responses from people on that, we realized that most people are unreachable by ads because we're oblivious, because there's so many scammers out there doing this and making it seem smarmy and too good to be true. and everybody thinks they don't qualify. And because I work with mostly people in the mortgage industry, I pitched them on this idea of setting up this referral network. And why not just pay a finder's fee to anybody that refers somebody in, and make it all warm referrals and reward anything that is of value. So, hey, I was getting my hair cut, and clearly that's not a long appointment. This is a very quick conversation, but the guy's asking me about my, what I'm up to, what do I do? And I stumbled into this ERC thing. All of a sudden my haircut pauses and I look back and he's on his phone. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, texting the owner of the salon. She's got 8 of them. And I'm like, oh, wow, cool. And he comes back and says, oh, she says she checked into it. She doesn't qualify. Like, tell her she does, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it's 170 employees, about a $3.5 million refund. He'll pick up a $35,000 referral fee. But then he's like, oh, my Veda hair rep that supplies us with all our shampoos and stuff, she calls on every salon in Arizona and blah, 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 blah. And she knows them all. It's like, great, tell her about it, because any money she makes, you get a percent. And we made it a percentage of your income because I want to look at you, Todd, and go, Todd, all I care about is your income. Whether you make money from referring other referral partners or referring, it doesn't matter. I just want you to make more money, because then I'll make more money. So that way, if you refer somebody who, it's not multi-level, but it has some of that benefit and some of that. And we just wanted to keep it really simple. Word of mouth. The companies pay a 20% contingency fee. So it doesn't cost them anything unless they get money back. And that's kind of the norm. There are some that charge more. There's a few that charge less, but it's highly suspect going to them. Sometimes on big companies, the law firm, accounting firm will get a little skinnier. That's why you technically make 5% of net revenue, not 1 point, but 5% of 20% contingency fee. They're paying you 1 point, 99% of the time. So that was the idea that I pitched on, because I had the mortgage industry in mind. And I had some ideas because my bank statement loan lead gen kills it. But it's like, well, wait a minute. Now I can help them with their down payment as well as qualifying based on cash flow instead of. And what about all the little real estate broker owners that don't have a lot of employees because their realtors are 1099, but they got a few, and that would be cool. And dang it, every self-employed borrower in the country is in some LO's database. They got to know plenty of them. And it just seemed like the perfect little thing. But the problem was, and guys, I'll show you. Am I sharing my screen, Todd? I never know if I am or not.
Yes, you are.
When I started making those early referrals, they all went into a system. And you can see these are all of those early referrals and all the ones that have been, and you can see the amounts: 103,000, 84, 299, $1,000,003. And guys, while we were putting this together over the last couple of months, did over $100 million in referrals, and did it across different, because then we started testing firms and what was the best and what was, and really learning everything about this industry. The problem is I haven't seen any of that. Yeah, I made over $1 million last month, but the IRS refund checks take anywhere from 3 to 6 months, sometimes even longer, to get back to the business. And then I haven't seen any of that money. So what we did, that was the biggest problem. But wait, people got to pay their bills now, today. So because across, in aggregate, over 8,000, or actually now 9,000 filings, none of them have ever gone bad. So we managed to put together a fund, millions of dollars, so that we could advance 50% upon filing and pay the other 50% on the back end. So if I refer a business that has, 40, 50 employees, they get $1 million refund. I got a $10,000 finder's fee. I get 5,000 of it when it's filed, whether it takes a few days or a few weeks. I get half of it up front and half of it on the back end. And by the way, we also then brought in a couple hedge funds and set up factoring, because a lot of the businesses need the money. And look, I discourage businesses from taking it, but we put it there because we could. They can take 80, because a lot of them are like, I don't believe it. It's not real. I believe it when I see it. Well, if you don't believe it, you can take 85% of your refund upon filing. They'll buy your check from you for 85% of whatever. So if you're getting $1 million check, they'll buy it for 850 grand the day you file. That's how confident they are and how real it is. But we put together all these funds to make it more immediate. And the other one was because the two big problems were we couldn't get through to people. I had a plastic surgery firm that was immune. And when somebody talked to them, they're like, yeah, we don't do any of that stuff. We don't need government handouts. To which the person replied, it's actually not a government handout. It's a tax refund. And they're like, oh, well, in that case, yeah, let's do it. It was 70 employees. And now you're getting $1.5 million back, making a $15,000. Well, how do we get to those people? And that's where we wanted a way of reaching the people who are oblivious, don't even know about it. Tens of thousands of people never took their PPP funds. The people that are misinformed, oh no, my income is up. You'll hear that all the time. And then people are just skeptical. It sounds too good to be true. How do we reach them? And warm referrals was the way. And we put together this whole referral network specifically because the majority of my friends are in the mortgage industry and everybody's hurting. And so we started playing with how can we make that overlap? How can it help you build? Because you're not in the mortgage business, you're in the database business. It's your relationships. You should be able to switch industries and still live off that database. But this one doesn't really distract you. It was meant to not take any time away from what you do, just help you, again, build your relationships, do some posts, do whatever. But I can tell you that yeah, the guy who cut my hair, I was in Vegas for business a couple of weeks ago. Cab driver, very chatty, retired, just doing this for some retirement fund, blah, blah, blah. What do you, bottom line, hands me this, oh my God, what do I know I'm in the car all day. I had a bunch of nieces and nephews because I live at the beach out visiting, and they all come to visit and, tap Uncle Bill for free food and beer. And we're all out eating, and they're 22, 24 years old. And they ask what I'm up to, and I tell them. And again, the conversation goes dark because now they're all on their phones, texting people. Everybody knows somebody that can take advantage of this. And I got to tell you, I've not sent an email. I've not done anything to tell anybody about this other than let it come up in conversation naturally. It's the coolest topic of conversation I've ever had for an introvert. It's kind of fun, but with that, it just keeps turning into more business every single day. It blows my mind. Think about all of those little mortgage brokerages out there, Todd, that, yeah, I had 28 employees total during COVID, but now I've got 4 and I'm struggling to keep my head above water. Well, yeah, you're looking at getting a $500,000 refund from the IRS. Would that make a difference in your life?
Heck yeah. All right. So is there anything else you want to share on your screen, or you want to stop sharing? And then
oh yeah, sorry.
Stuff up? No worries. No worries. All valuable info. So I think, kind of sort of to give, my thoughts on it, right? Because a lot of the people who I've already signed up are my friends in the mortgage business, my friends in the real estate business, a lot of the people in my group coaching group. And I want you all to be successful first and foremost as mortgage and real estate folks. I don't want you to be doing ERC as a full-time job. And so that's why it's just super easy. When Bill said, hey, you can have someone refer it and make a little bit of money. I thought it was a great opportunity for, you all and for me to kind of, support. And, I've been fielding questions from the folks who've already signed up, through me, that I've encouraged to get involved. And so, yeah, someone was asking if churches and nonprofits can apply. I see you replying back. What
Yep.
The answer is yes.
Anybody, it's a payroll tax refund. Thank you for keeping people employed. If you had W-2 employees, you are entitled to, or potentially entitled to, this tax refund for keeping those people on during 2020 and 2021. 2021 being the biggest year. And Todd said 500 to 500 employees. There's a lot of nuance to this. Everybody needs to know about it, but 2019 is the baseline year. So I've got a company that had 400 and change employees in 19. In 21, they had 1,200 employees, but they qualified based on 2019. So they're getting the refund on all of those employees in 2021. If a company has 6,000 employees, they don't qualify for every employee, but any employee that was furloughed, paid to not work, those are all refundable. So, and by the way, we also do this because you're talking about a massive accounting and law firm that does nothing but this stuff, or actually a couple of them. There's a lot of these government programs. It's not just the ERC. We also do R&D tax credits or work opportunity tax credits. And we'll hit you with that stuff later. Just know this. It's the kind of thing that everybody needs to know about. And it only ever seems to circulate via word of mouth. People just don't know about these programs. They don't believe in these programs. They don't know how to tap into it. My best referral sources are all CPAs, because legit ethical CPAs would never attempt to do this on their own, but all their clients need to tap into it. It's not a complicated concept. It's a complicated process, but all you got to do is refer somebody.
So what I would suggest is sign up. I just put the post up there. It's LOERC is the easy button to get signed up, right? So you know, sign up now, right? That's kind of easy. Just LO for loan officer, ERC.com. And then, you know, even if you're thinking, I don't know anyone right now, the weirdest thing is, like I said, I walked into the dentist and asked my dentist. I talked to my brother and asked my brother. Bill got his hair cut and asked talk to the hair person, talk to the cab driver, right? These are all opportunities. And so just get signed up. It's free. And then that way you've got the link. So I would just save the code and I'll help you guys find your referral code. It seems like the people who are signing up, that's the number one thing is what's the code to sign somebody up. But you know, literally you guys are in sales. And so all I would do if it was me, I would be talking to Bill. If Bill was my business person, I'd say, hey, Bill, are you the business decision maker? He'd say yes. And I'd say, awesome. Hey, is it okay if I fill out this form for you to have someone contact you about the ERC? Again, you don't need to qualify them. So Bill just taught me I was wrong. If someone's got more than 500 employees, they can do it. So rather than me try to qualify whether the person gets the ERC or not, you're just going to fill out the form with them, name, business name, phone number, email, number of employees. Let them know they're going to be getting reached out to by, you know, a member of this ERConlyteam.com, and let them do that part for you. All you have to do is literally send them the link or fill out your link on their behalf. Super easy. I don't want you guys to be thinking about it any more than that. I don't want you guys to be spending hours of your day knocking on doors, right? It's just the whole idea is you have people you're going to run into, and then maybe spend a few minutes looking at your database for loans that you either did or didn't do because you declined them because you're self-employed, and see how you can help them get a little bit of their tax money back from the government.
Yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell. Oh, another quick resource. By the way, when you sign up, you'll get emails. There's plenty of videos, trainings, things you can share. You get your little website that you can send them to, and they can sign up, or you can just go in there and fill out their information. You'll get introduced to a ERC specialist when you do that first transaction. After that, you get to know them and just text people and introduce them or whatever. We just put up a Facebook support group last night, actually. So it is live now. I redirected. It's ERC only is the group, but I took ERConlyteam.com and redirected it there. So you can go there, sign up. It's a private group. In there, I have chats on different topics, how people qualify, videos, explainers, trainings. You can ask questions, you can get support. We like I said, we've been building this for a couple months and managed to do a lot of business during that time, just falling all over ourselves, but are just now rolling this out to the public. So it's changing very, very rapidly. Tools to post, because you can post to your Facebook, you can post to your LinkedIn, you can scroll through your LinkedIn, you can spot whatever. You'll realize pretty soon that, yeah, my brother-in-law is a Snap-on tool guy who does nothing but call on auto repair places and car dealerships all day long, or the Beta Hair rep, or my cousin is a pharmaceutical rep. Oh my gosh, he's referring doctors like crazy, and it just starts to click. I can tell you that I know a few people that have made more money in the last 6 months than I've made in my lifetime, and I'm a pretty good earner. I intend to make more money. I'm absolutely certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'll make more money in 23 than I have in my lifetime, to the point that I'm really working on talking to my wife. Come on, Puerto Rico, let's just move there for 1 year and cut our taxes. But I won Texas. We'll move from California to Texas. It'll save us 13.5%.
Well,
It's that kind of
uh,
opportunity.
I have to say, right, when I hear you say it's going to be the biggest income earning year of your life, and like I said, you were so, to me, it was a no-brainer, right? I'm like, I've been begging you to let me sign up for the last few weeks while you guys were building out your systems, because, like I said, I just know if you're this excited about it and you've had this level of success, there's no reason. I certainly don't have the network you have, but I've got a pretty good network. There's no reason I can't go out and help them. And then, more importantly, I love the fact that you're willing to spend time with the industry that's been so good to both of us, which is the mortgage industry, and help the loan officers here, ultimately have just one little more, could be one big more income stream, in what's kind of a rough market right now.
Yeah, I remember Sales Mastery in 07, I think it was, being up on stage in Vegas, or was it Mastermind? I get them all confused. I just remember going, I got an idea. What if all 1,200 of us went out to the pool? On the count of 3, we're all going to go underwater and we're going to hold our breath. And the first 600 who come up agree to quit the business and go home. Because that's how you win in this market. Those who survive double and triple their market share, because most won't survive. That's how you win in these dips. You grab market share so that when it comes back, well, how do you survive? Little side hustle, make a few $100,000 or a few million, while continuing to build your relationships in your database, because as originators, that's what everybody should be focused on anyway. It is he or she with the most friends wins. This just helps with the friendships. It will help grow it naturally, because you'll kind of freak out on the there are 132 people, and I think I signed up 2, but 132 people that have signed up this week, Todd. Up to 25 million in business refunds this first week from, I think I referred you and my daughter and add traffic.
I'm a good company. I'm a good company there with your daughter. And, I think, to me, again, I've talked to a couple people, like my brother was a perfect example. I said, just sign up. Again, there's no cost to it. And I promise you're going to come across someone that you can refer to. So I'll find out today. He's going to talk to the CEO of his company. I mean, again, they could be in line for $5 million. That would be a pretty good start for him, and so I think that's really it. For me, I just made I made it really easy. I created I went to GoDaddy and I bought an URL. It's actnow.erc.com. And so that's what I'm giving to the people, the businesses, for me to sign up, and it goes over to my referral page. So that way, when they go in there, it'll come to me. But, again, it's super easy. You can just literally cut and paste the link. You don't need to do anything special like that. And then I'll make myself a resource, for me, I'm proud to say probably of the 100 and whatever Bill said have signed up, I probably have, 24 or more that are part of, let's call it, my organization. And I'm really committed to help all of you make this easy. Because again, for me, if it's something I'm going to introduce to you all that's going to be hard, that's going to suck your time, then I'm doing you a disservice. I don't want you guys to be the people who came up from the water at the hotel and Bill's Pool in Vegas and quit the business. I want you guys just to have this be something that's super easy to supplement you, but I want you to stay focused on your mortgage related activities.
Yes. And just use this money to invest into your mortgage business so that you double and triple your market share, so that when everything turns, you're on the top of the pile. I saw one question in here. Is there a minimum or maximum size of business? It's a lot of work, an insane amount of work. So we try not to do businesses below 5. It ends up being a loser. The accounting firm hates us. We do it on occasion, mainly for nonprofits or charities. Karma. You never want to tell a church or a nonprofit no, even if it's just one employee. But for normal businesses, 5's the floor. 500, we call it the max. Just so you understand, if you had 500 employees in 2019, then you qualify for however many you had in total during 20 and 21. Well, excuse me, in 21. 20 is actually 100. So when somebody says, oh, I got 200 employees, great, we can file for 21, which is most of the money, which is the 500 employees. And that's all of your payroll taxes. But like I said, bigger ones, if they furloughed employees, are entitled to get all those monies back. So, but only if they furloughed employee, only if they, whatever you call it, where you pay them to, I'm going to pay you, but go home.
Yeah, I don't exactly.
That's it.
I think furlough, you pay them, they don't make any money. So there's some other.
Yeah. What is that word?
Employed. Like my friend owns a gym. They got, they don't have a lot of employees, but they got 150,000 back for ERC credits, but they kept their people employed. They paid them even though they weren't teaching classes at the time, and that's why he qualified. Someone's asked about the recording. Yeah, the recording will be available. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but I'll make sure that everyone who registered and was here to watch this did that. And by all means, if you've got a big group, like I know someone who registered is not here because she's at BNI today. Well, guess what? She's going to sign up all the businesses in her BNI. And she's going to sign them up for the 1%. She's not signing them up to recruit more people. She's just telling them they should be recruiting all of their businesses to her. And so again, you're going to approach it sort of however you want. I'm sharing it with all of you because I feel like that's the best, most abundant thing for me to do. But the one thing I love is that Bill and his team are willing to help. I'm willing to help. And so, let us jump in. Got another question there for you, Bill. That's too smart for me.
Closed due to COVID at the end of 19. They had, ran into that. And it's like, I saw the news. Oh, Sprout Financial closed their doors. They had 500 employees. I'm like, oh, as long as there's an ERC, if the money was paid, the tax return is due. If somebody filed bankruptcy and now the money's, now it gets too complicated, but if the EIN is still in existence to pay the money back to, I can tell you a couple people are using this like with a M&A or an acquisition strategy. I'm buying businesses because I'm going to pick up this $20,000 to $26,000 per employee that they had back then, even though now they don't have that much. So bring in any question. I'll also tell you that a big chunk of our business is refilings because so many people have filed for this incorrectly. They did it with their CPA. They did it with somebody and they got 5 or 10,000 per employee when they should have gotten, like I said, the average is about 21. So we do a lot of refilings. Won't refile if it was done in a scary fashion that makes it look like it's an audit risk, but it's worth investigating just about any business that didn't already get 20,000 plus per employee back. Even if they close, it's just a matter of how did they close. Is the EIN still there or did they just quit doing business?
All right, perfect. What my goal was 45 minutes. We're kind of at that mark. Any last minute thoughts or statements from you, Bill, and then I'll close us out.
No, tap into the Facebook group where we have daily support, open office hours on Zoom. Tap into those. doing a lot of training videos. The software and the dashboard are being updated literally in real time. So just check in, pay attention, be blown away at some of the things that you're seeing. The success stories are the funnest. All the people coming back saying, you changed my life. This is incredible. That's fun stuff.
Well, and like I say, so make sure, go to loerc.com. The link is in the Facebook. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, it's in Zoom. Just scroll up in the chat, but just LO for loan officer, ERC for employee retention credit.com. That'll get you signed up. And then just know that Bill and I and his team will continue to support y'all, because our goal is to help you all make a little extra revenue, but more importantly, help some small businesses who are in need. Facebook group.
Looking for questions? Don't see any more.
.com. All right.
Yeah.
Last question. All right, Bill. Well, thank you, Bill. I'm super grateful for you and supporting all of us in this new endeavor, and appreciate, well, I'm sure we'll be back on here talking about it more, and just be ready for all of us, and all of you. Will wish you the best. We will talk to you soon.
Fantastic. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.